how does it feel as a parent when your kids are struggling, but there's nothing that you can really do to help them? And I put some practical examples in here, like maybe your child is frustrated and embarrassed, or just completely feels different or unassociated from their peers, or maybe their child or your child is struggling to make friends, and no one likes them, quote unquote. But really, these things, you can't always be in their schools with them. You can't be that hover parent around them all the time, and you can't force people to like them. And the person who asked this worries about having to deal with this when they're kids, and they're dealing with things that you just can't control or change. Like, how do we deal with that?
Well, I would say it's the first thing that pops to my head is we can't be with them all the time. So you have to really learn how to pray through situations with your kids. Mm-hmm. So to me, the biggest thing is to pray for them and to grow in that relationship with God, to where you have that relationship with God where you can pray for them and know that God hears your prayers. But then it's also important to listen to your kids. And if they say, nobody likes me at school, oh, yes, they do. Like, you're just being like, don't put them off.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's good.
give them the attention that they need at that moment, and kind of walk through it with them. Like, why do you feel that way? What's happening that's causing you to think that way? And maybe walk through it with them, because it may just be a misunderstanding on their part. Like, or you can give scenarios of, well, maybe this is what's happening. And so but at the end of the day, you got to pray for them, because you can't be there with them to protect them. That would be more embarrassing if you went to school with them and showed up to help. But yeah, I think listening to kids is a big deal. I think a lot of times we think we're listening and we let them get a few words out, and then we answer it without just hearing them completely out. Tell me what you think. No. But letting them tell you the whole story and their side of it, even if their side doesn't seem accurate to you.
Yeah.
But that gives you the opportunity to understand where they're coming from, because that's where they're coming from. That's what they're believing is happening. And so it gives you the opportunity to kind of walk them through it and walk them through scenarios that maybe they can handle it differently and things like that.
And I'm guilty of that as a dad. As a guy, I'm a fixer.
Me too.
You tell me a problem, I just want to fix it. I'm not, I don't listen to the whole story. I don't ask a lot of questions. I just get a problem, and this is what I need to do to fix it. So I'm at fault there as well, because I just want to fix it.
You got 3 daughters, so good luck with that.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be rough. But, yeah.
You just need to remember, ask 2 more questions before you fix it.
Whoa, look
I
at
do,
that.
yeah. So I'm getting tips
right
now.
there.
So
You go,
I do need to
there
ask
you
a
go.
couple
I
more
need to do
questions.
that in my marriage.
That's a whole nother episode.
Oh, okay. That's a different series. All right.
Some points that I had, prayer was one of them. I
Right.
think that is super important. I pray for my kids every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day. The other thing I think we should do is really understand and acknowledge that, hey, God is in control. God is sovereign. He is in control. And we can't control every aspect of their lives. We have to give our kids the freedom to make their own choices. And also we have to allow them the responsibility to handle the consequences of those choices they make, and even hold them accountable, and always point them back to God's word. And again, this is back to, the progress over perfection. But like, again, the church only has your kids for an hour, maybe 2 at the most a week. So are you leading your family spiritually in the home? Are you opening God's word? That's where a lot, if not all, probably all of the answers are to life, are literally in God's word. So we have to point them back to God's word. And then, as you said, pray.
Yeah.
But then there's also, like you made me think, when I do the parenting class, we talk about you can do prayer, like when you pray about something, write it down, and then you can go back to that to see that it was answered. So in the instance, if they're having a hard time making friends, maybe that's something, like I know we prayed with the kids at night before they went to bed. So if that's something you do, maybe find a spot in your house or in their room or somewhere to write down okay, we're going to pray for 2 friends that God gives you to, and show that when God answers that prayer, and that grows their faith.
Yes.
To be like, you know what? Like, he really does listen to me. He really does answer my prayers. So even writing down situations that you're praying for with them so that you can go back and look and see how God brought them through it. So when they hit that harder situation in high school, because I feel like as you get older, situations get harder.
Yeah.
And so when they hit that harder situation, their instant thought will be to go to prayer, because that's what we did when I was younger.
Yeah.
And he answered that prayer.
And that's transferring dependence from you
Yes.
to God. That's so
Yes.
crucial.
Yeah. And I think for us, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's harder for the girl as she gets older in high school than it is for the guy. And it could be different for everybody.
For us, it was,
For
yes.
us particularly, I felt like it was. And maybe because our son, maybe he didn't express those feelings, Maybe he had them.
Because he's a guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say, don't discount the feelings.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's something I had to learn because, our daughter, Haley, when she was little, she would make a big deal about nothing in my mind, okay? But for her, it was a big deal about something. And so I had to learn to be like, that's a big deal to her, so I need to listen and not just interrupt and try to fix it, but I need to listen, hear the whole story, even though it takes 20 minutes to hear it, and every little detail. And she's having real feelings,
Yeah.
And I grew up with a brother, so I didn't, I wasn't around like, daughters and stuff. I didn't
Yeah.
have a sister. So it was not, this is all new to me. So it was really hard
Yeah.
for me to empathize, I guess is the word, with her. But I had to learn to do that. And as
Yeah.
a man, I think that's what your daughter needs a lot, because they need their daddy to empathize with them and to feel with them the pain that they're feeling, even though you may think it's not that big of a deal, but it is to
Yeah.
them.
And
So-
I think my daughters have been a bigger blessing in my life than I have been in theirs, because they have provided me the opportunity to grow in my emotional intelligence in that way.
Yes.
Because I grew up in a similar family, a brother, militaristic. Then I joined the military, and it was just a suck it up mentality. Oh, you got this problem? Here's a straw. Suck it up. Like,
Yeah.
move on. And it's just like,
Yeah.
no, that's not always the answer. Like,
Yeah.
some things we do have to kind of suck up, but we have to deal with them
Yeah.
the right way.
And we have a bonus daughter now who's,
Hey.
yeah. So, so she.
Shout out
so I have
Yasmin.
2 daughters now, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm learning because I didn't have her when she was younger. She's older now.
Yeah.
And so it's even different, with that. So anyway.